The McLaren F1 GTR is one of the most iconic and successful race cars in motorsport history, with a fascinating journey that began as a high-performance road car and evolved into a legendary racing machine. Here is the story of how it all unfolded. In the early 90s, McLaren, a renowned British automotive and racing company, was looking to create the ultimate road car. The result was the McLaren F1, a groundbreaking hypercar designed by Gordon Murray, one of the most influential engineers in the history of motorsport. The F1 was revolutionary in many ways. It was one of the first cars to utilize a full carbon fiber monocoque chassis, making it incredibly light and stiff. It also used a naturally aspirated 6.1-liter BMW V12 engine, producing 618 horsepower, which is still an impressive amount of power for a naturally aspirated engine. It ended up achieving a top speed over 240 miles per hour and held the title of the world's fastest production car for several years. To give the driver the best view of the road, it featured a unique central driving position and had two passenger seats that were slightly offset behind the driver, although those would be removed for American imports. This created a more race-inspired and immersive driving experience. It also used exotic materials such as gold to allow for heat shielding from the engine, and was packed with cutting-edge technology, making it a highly coveted supercar. The F1 was originally released in 1992 and quickly became a symbol of automotive excellence. McLaren produced just 106 versions of the road car between 92 and 98, with a price tag around $1 million at the time, and it became a benchmark for hypercars and an icon of the 90s. Even though it was never originally intended for the track, McLaren's roots were in racing, and it wasn't long before they decided to take it into the world of motorsport. This decision was influenced by a new opportunity in motorsport racing, particularly the FIA GT Championship and the Le Mans 24 Hours. In the mid-90s, the FIA GT Championship was becoming increasingly popular, and the McLaren team realized they could capitalize on the success of the F1 by adapting it for the track. They set their sights on the 24 Hours of Le Mans, one of the most prestigious endurance races in the world. However, for the F1 to compete in these events, it had to be modified significantly from the road-going version. The chassis of the F1 GTR was based on the road-going version F1's carbon fiber monocoque chassis, but had significant modifications for racing. The car was stripped down to save weight and fitted with racing suspension and aerodynamics designed to improve performance at high speeds. The road car's BMW V12 was modified for racing as well, increasing the power output by adapting the engine to the demands of endurance racing. It produced around 600 to 650 horsepower, a little less than the road car's engine, but more than enough for the race. The GTR also featured a large rear wing, revised front and rear bumpers, and other tweaks to its aerodynamics, all aimed at maximizing downforce and stability at high speeds. The car was also equipped with racing-specific tires, a stripped-down interior, and a roll cage for safety. In '95, they got the car to qualify, and they entered it into the 24 Hours of Le Mans with a factory team of F1 GTRs, and the results were nothing short of historic. McLaren's entry into the Le Mans race was highly unconventional. In this race, McLaren ran a combination of factory and customer cars, with several teams participating under the McLaren umbrella. McLaren's primary entry was with drivers such as J.J. Leto, Mika Hakkinen, and Steve Soper, who all faced competition from other manufacturers like Porsche and Mercedes-Benz. In a stunning upset, the McLaren F1 GTR dominated the race, winning overall victory in the 95 24 Hours of Le Mans. The car finished in 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and they had one in 13th positions, making it a clean sweep for McLaren in the event, a feat that was virtually unprecedented. Not only did this victory prove the F1 GTR's performance in one of the most challenging racing circuits in the world, but it also showed that McLaren's decision to race the F1 had paid off in one of the most spectacular ways possible. Following their success at Le Mans, McLaren continued to develop the F1 GTR and competed in several more racing series. In the FIA GT Championship, McLaren found continued success, cementing the F1 GTR as one of the most formidable race cars of the era. The F1 GTR was a force to be reckoned with, winning numerous races and championships, and it became a symbol of McLaren's engineering prowess. However, after a brief period of dominance, McLaren chose to shift its focus back to Formula One racing, where the company had long been one of the leading teams. The McLaren F1 GTR's time in racing was relatively short-lived, but highly impactful. After this brief career, the F1 was retired from professional racing in the late 90s. Despite this, its legacy lived on. The car's success at Le Mans was one of the defining moments in motorsport history for the team, and its unique blend of cutting-edge technology, aggressive performance, and racing pedigree made it a permanent fixture in automotive lore. McLaren only produced a total of 28 F1 GTRs, including several customer versions, some of which were sold to private teams for use in various motorsport events. But the success of the F1 GTR helped McLaren establish itself as a dominant force in both motorsport and road car manufacturing, paving the way for future models like the McLaren P1 and the 720S. The F1's innovative use of carbon fiber, aerodynamics, and lightweight construction also influenced both the future world of supercars and race cars around the world. Due to its racing pedigree and limited production, the F1 GTR is now one of the most sought-after race cars in the world. It's a car that commands astronomical prices at auctions and remains a symbol of automotive perfection. The McLaren F1 GTR is not just a race car, it's a piece of automotive history, born from the desire to take an already groundbreaking road car to the racetrack. The F1 GTR's incredible success, particularly at the 1995 24 Hours of Le Mans, solidified its place as one of the greatest racing cars ever built. Its combination of advanced engineering, performance, and racing success remains unrivaled, and the F1 GTR's legacy continues to inspire both car enthusiasts and engineers alike. With that being said, if you like this livery, it can be found by searching under 1995 in-game to honor that victory. And if you've made it this far, please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos. Let's go ahead and take this car to Tokyo and see where it falls on our list. Fully built, the McLaren F1 GTR ends up with 774 horsepower and 572 foot-pounds of torque. It hits the scales at 2,315 pounds, giving it an overall performance point balance of 796.07 points. This makes it a great choice for the 800 series races, and it's easy enough to detune it to allow it to qualify for the 700 series races as well, and it actually may even fit into those categories a little bit better due to its age. This car can also be used in the Manufacturers Cup Series if you end up signing with McLaren, but I found the F1 to be around a second slower than the 650S when the BOP is applied. So that $20 million credit purchase price won't get you an easy pay-to-win victory in this situation. In testing, I was seeing the car being capable of making around 5 laps on a tank of fuel, and after our 3-lap test, I saw a 25% wear to the front tires and around 35% wear to the rears. So fuel is most likely going to be your your limiting factor in these races, and you're more than likely going to want to switch to medium tires anyway. It's just usually a better way to get that grind taken care of without having to worry so much about your tires slipping away. With my current setup, it didn't seem like the car wanted to rotate all that well, so it is a car that's better for something with long straights. It has a tendency to push in the corners if you don't give it a decent amount of braking to slow it down, and it just doesn't seem to want to turn, so there are better options available. That's part of where we lost that second. We ended up crossing the line at 1 minute 54 seconds, 0.254, and that actually put it in 44th place, which is 6 places lower than the road version of the car and almost half a second behind it as well. If you've missed that video, please click here and check it out. It's a pretty good history as well. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.